Lenny, I'm about to film. Can you keep it down, please? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalie, and I'm just here now to share crafting updates on what I've been doing weekly. And I'm so grateful that you can spend a little time with me. So, I don't have any finished objects today, but I have some progress on some garments that I've been knitting on, and just a bit of a knit and chat at the end. So, this is the Pavo blouse by one or Yeon Lee, and I knitted this holding two strands of alpaca silk, so chaos alpaca silk in the color charisma, and I finished it a few months ago. And I'll stand up so you can see what it looks like. So it almost has like a peplum shape. This is actually the first time that I'm wearing it because I finished it in probably the dead of winter. So I haven't had the opportunity to wear it yet. So I thought I will give it a trial run for this podcast. As you probably know, I typically wear all my knits. So I have been looking forward to giving this a trial. It's a complete laced yoke. As you can see, there are some mistakes. I still need to work on my lace knitting, and then the motif is repeated at the hem of the sleeves and the end of the sweater. So yeah, it feels really nice against the skin. This is quite a quality alpaca silk, brushed alpaca silk. The color's super vibrant and it's warm yet light. So I think summers and transitional seasons in the UK, I can get a lot of wear out of this. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's continue on with my long standing whip. So I have made some progress on the waist shaping. Obviously, you cannot see it until I try it on, but I think you can see how this side panel, which doesn't, sorry, let's tuck that in. This side panel doesn't have any color work. So I used this side panel to do my decreases. Now, I would love to sit here and tell you that I used a schematic that you can find online and I diligently worked it out mathematically. Alas, I did not. So, in my last episode, I tried on the Mudcloth for the very first time and I was really happy with the fit. Initially, when I had planned to do some waist shaping, I calculated, well, not calculated, but I measured from underarm to where was to the narrowest part of my waist and took that measurement as to when I would begin doing the decreases. But then when I tried it on, I realized that that wasn't the right way to go because obviously once it gets to the narrowest part of the waist, it has been gradually decreasing. So I needed to do that as well. So fortunately, at the point that I tried on the garment, my waist was naturally curving. So I decided to just slip, knit. So when I arrived to this area, I knit one, slip, knit, and then knit until I got to 3 stitches from the end of the side panel and knit 2 together and knit 1. And I did that for 5 rows. So I'm on the last of the decreased row, alternating rows. So I have 10 decreases altogether. And then I will increase in the same way for 10 rows and finish up with the original amount of stitches on my needle so that I get the gradual, hopefully, curvature of my waist. I won't try the Mudcloth on now until I finish for the body and about to start on the sleeves. So fingers crossed that it fits well because to this day, a garment hasn't taken me over a year. Usually, on average, I would say to knit a sweater would take about 1 to 2 months. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to finishing it. So I think I have gone through what I'm using for it. So I'm using woolly knit cone for both colours. So this is simply black and cream nep in the woolly knit cone in the British wool 4-ply. So I'm holding each colour double to make a DK weight yarn or DK weight fabric. And they are on cones. So I am trying super hard this year to not purchase yarn. So I'm sticking to knitting from stash. However, I am allowing myself to buy other creative supplies, for example, books and paints and things like that. So hopefully you will see the results of those purchases or those ideas in the next few episodes. Okay, so let's move on to the next whip. So this is the tucker tee. I'm really sorry in that I do not remember who the pattern is by, but I'll be sure to link to all of the patterns that I mention in the description box. So this is the tucker tee and it is a 4-ply weight, 4-ply DK weight. It's like a 24 stitch gauge tee/top. So I have started on the ribbing. This top is intended to be a block color, so a 1-color garment, but I fancied playing around with this color palette that I found quite heavily in my stash. So I thought it would be fun. This is a very nostalgic color combo for me. As I detailed in my last episode, that my parents had a rug, a bedroom rug in this color combination, and it also reminds me of the tube and bus seats of the transport links near the house that I grew up in. So yeah, I think I will really enjoy wearing this. But we're looking at the color combo, or the looking at the stripes in the camera here, I have to say that it's not giving a smooth transition. However, I think with a block, I think it will have the effect that I'm going for. So anyway, it's meant to be retro. It's meant to be a little bit, well loved, old and well loved. So I have started on the sleeves because at one point I got bored, and I'm still quite bored of doing the one by one ribbing. So to give myself a bit of reprieve, I also work in the round in stockinette to do the sleeves. So I'm unsure as yet whether to do sort of these short capped sleeves or long sleeve, but I think I am erring towards long sleeves because I'll just get so much more wear out of a long sleeve garment. So yeah, so those are my primary whips. This week I have also mended the last of my husband's sweaters. So he has a grey cashmere sweater that had two tiny little holes in the underarm. And what I ended up doing this time around is knitting them closed because they were quite small. The actual holes were quite small. So I knitted those closed. But then the area around the hole, I can tell needed reinforcement. So I knitted up very small gauge swatch with grey yarn and knitted it over the weakened area so that hopefully it's a little bit protected from the friction of rubbing under the arms. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on how that wears. Before I put all my thick knitwear away for the summer, I think I will have a look at all of them closely just to make sure that they are all mended, or that they're all in good nick before I sort of shut them away. I also need to refresh the lavender sachets that I put into my wool garment cupboard. And what I'll do is simply take the little sachets out. They have dried lavender on them. And because I don't actually have any more dried lavender in the house, I do have, but they're for decorative purposes. I will just simply get some lavender essential oil and just put it on the sachets and put them back into the cupboard. And hopefully it will have the same effect of repelling little critters that like to munch on natural fibers. And it also makes the knitwear smell nice. When I wear my wool sweaters, I tend to wear them for a few wears consecutively, airing them in between, and then I give them a wash, and then I put them, and then I store them away. Because I've heard that if you wear a sweater, especially if it's natural fibers, and you immediately put that item away, the dirt, dead skin cells, the sweat from your body tends to get trapped in the wool, and that is what attracts the moths. So I've read that you should never put used or dirty, not used, but worn items back into the cupboard, and also rotate things regularly and just essentially take care of your items that you've spent a lot of time and resources creating. So I hope to do that in the next few weeks as part of my sort of spring seasonal organization and cleaning of the house. Speaking of seasonal activities, as I said last week, I have a couple more seasonal knits planned They have both been in my stash for quite a while. I've also started knitting both of those, but for some reason, the stitch of those garments didn't really were beyond my skill set at the time, so I had to frog them. So I'm hoping that this time around they come out well. So one is a dip stitched pattern that I made a episode about a few years back, that I had to frog because it wasn't giving. And then the second, I don't think I've talked about on any episode, and it has quite a complex, all over textured stitch work. And it's a super cool pattern. It's by some, in my mind, a quite avant garde Danish designer, and I can't remember the name, but I think it began with the letter V. So I also have a new intro. It was really cool to play around with colored pencils and crayons and just do some unhinged things onto images. It was more of a reaction to AI art that I see people using more and more. And while, you know, I love the fact that people are creating, even if it's with AI, but it felt good to go back to non-digital, doing something that's non-digital. So what I ended up doing was taking footage and then manually isolating the frames and then printing those frames off and then using different techniques to augment. So yeah, it was pretty nice to do that. Obviously, with these videos, I don't get too many views, so I feel in a way quite free to do this kind of thing and to experiment. And yeah, so my stuff is an acquired taste, and those of you who are starting to form community in the comments and amongst each other and show up for me for each episode, I am eternally grateful, and hopefully we can inspire each other to create and to explore different mediums. So kind of changed the angle for a moment because I'm sitting at my computer, and this week I have also been thinking about past fashions and items that I used to own, uh, obviously, like with regards to knitted items that I used to have and own. And one look, don't know if any of you guys are around my age or older who can remember the chokehold that boleros or shrugs had on us. So for me, they were super in fashion, like at the turn of the millennium, like in the year like 2000, 2001. They were super fashionable. And it's a shame that they're not so fashionable now because they're super practical. Added warmth on the arms and the back for summer, let's say, you've got that added warmth, but yet it doesn't cover up a nice outfit. So, anyway, I was looking through Ravelry just to see if I could find one to knit. And I still have one, but the one that I have used to belong to my late mother. So it's super valuable to me. But yet I used to use it a lot, in Spain and in the UK, in my late teens, throughout my 20s. Used to wear it to raves, used to wear it out to the pubs, to parties. So it is really a wonder that I still have it. But yeah, I love it so much. And even though they are not in fashion at the moment, I am considering wearing one if I could find the right pattern. So let's have a look at the bolero, the shrug. I think making one from stash, Newton, or a unspun yarn that I have, or like a mohair or pack of fluff could be really cool. So while looking, I came across this gem, which reminded me of a lace bolero that I myself used to wear. This is this is the only pic that I could find of it. I think I would have any use for something like this since I no longer go to raves or dress up like a cat. Although sometimes I do indulge in a little cat sock action. So, anyway, feel free to shout your own Bolero shrug recommendations if you have any in the comments. Because it's like cardigans just give you way too much bulk, you know? In the height of summer, in like a temperate region like Britain, where the the evenings, the summer evenings, still get super cold, having a little shrug or bolero tucked in your bag and being able to just pull it on without covering your whole, your cute outfit, super practical. And I don't know why more people don't wear shrugs. Also, while looking for a picture of my famed lace bolero, I came across this cardigan. It was a gem. So when I lived in Barcelona, I used to meet one of my really close friends, Karen, for lunch, and we used to go thrifting in a Humana store. Like Humana is like a chain. Humana is a chained thrift charity shop in Spain. I think they have them in France as well. I'm not sure, but anyway, we used to go there and find the best gems. And this was like around, I think, 2011 or something like that. And one day I found this cardigan and I just couldn't believe my luck. And I still remember it was really heavy. It was hand knitted and I just loved it. I used to wear like plain outfits for a night out and stick that cardigan on. So it was this hand knitted Australian themed magnum opus. It was like, it had like knitted kangaroos on it. It would say like Bondi Beach. Is it Bondi or Bonsai? Can't remember. The famous beach in Australia. And had all kinds of things in it. And I don't have it anymore. I think when I was doing an overhaul of my wardrobe, I think I re-thrifted it. So I think I donated it somewhere. I can't remember what country I did that, but we can only pray that it has found another loving home because that was an epic piece of knitwear. I hope you enjoyed this episode and spending a little time with me. I bid you adieu. Ciao.